Super professional intro with no music so I don't get copyright struck. Struck. Yeah! Hello there, my name is Wimp and welcome to the refit, the replacement, the building, I'm not sure what to call this video. And here's why. Welcome to the HoverFly, the old open cockpit utility hover vehicle 09 HoverFly that was built before the game was released fully. So, the idea of this started out because I had a contraption like that, but much smaller, that I used to build HVs down on a planet. You see, this kind of framing has hover engines and thrusters so that I could lift the vehicle up to work on the underneath and, move it around if I needed to. Now, even on the old one, the small one, because this is just an edit of my Arrow, but the smaller one even had a cockpit seat on top so I could control it. Now, I had the idea of putting something on stilts that was high up, kind of, maybe not above the trees, but, pretty close. And it was, the idea of this particular vehicle was to fight drones. So, I had as you probably know, this might not be the first video of mine you've seen, but all of the original open cockpit utility and the enclosed cockpit utility hover vehicles, they all started, the name of them started with the word hover. So hover ped, hover bike, hover thing, hover this, hover that. And I had the idea of maybe calling it a HoverFly because it was so high up above the trees. And as soon as the idea popped into my head that I could put the thrusters on these kind of wing shapes, that was it. I was sold on, on the idea, and obviously it's just a bit of fun. It's not really serious. It was built with tongue-in-cheek, The problem is that I don't think this fits at all within the whole Hover Line series thing, so it's going to be replaced, and I'm going to replace it with a van. So I don't really need to talk about that anymore. Yeah, I think so. I have another series planned. I started to build some vehicles in Space Engineers that were all named after winged insects, and I'm going to be bringing not only the ones I built already into Empyrion, but complete the line, because there was some that I hadn't got round to doing. I don't think this is going to fit into that line or series at all, but even though that those original vehicles in Space Engineers didn't have these kind of bug eyes, I think I am going to try to adapt this as best as I can and use that on the winged insects vehicles, just to give it that little bit extra, because actually they were very similar to the Wimpomania line in Empyrion, other than the fact that they had sort of wing-shaped bits on the back that held the thrusters. Aye, so here we go then. What's the plan for the HoverVan? Because it's not going to be that. It will replace this. That's why I've got this out. It'll be replacing it. Its blueprint, and it will be replacing it on the workshop. This isn't going to be, a new blueprint. So, as usual, no, not as usual, unlike usual, I have my Arrow ready already, and here is what I'm thinking the HoverVan will have. Small generator, probably 2 medium fuel tanks, large, the normal size. I haven't got any of the small fuel tanks out, but thinking about what it might look like in my head, it's possible it might have some smalls, but I don't know. I'm hoping it's only going to need 4 hover engines. What's the CPU on those? I never bothered to pay any attention. Okay, 50. CPU on that is 15. Yeah, so I think rather than allocating 6 just in case it needs it, I think I'm just going to stick with 4. So it's going to have 4 thrusters, 2 mediums in all 4 directions. There. Let's just plop these down. And it's going to be a 2-seater. So it's going to need a driver's seat and a passenger seat. And it'll have a Wi-Fi so that you can access the cargo container when you take this to like a trade station. That's kind of the idea of this. You would use it early game to take all your bits and pieces to a trade station to sell them, make a bit of dollar. Right, let's get the next set of devices out. Won't be a sec. Right, so I know it's going to be enclosed, so it's going to need a vent, and I'll probably only do 1 tank because the interior is going to be very small. That does mean it's going to need 2 doors, 1 on each side. This will be able to be accessed from both sides. It's going to have a detector for detecting any drones that might be in the way. And I'm thinking I'm going to put a turret on this. Really? That's where you're going to make me put it? Okay. Just for, if you're carrying valuable stuff to a trade post to sell it, you kind of don't want a drone to get a locky shut off, thumbs up if you understand that reference, and destroy your cargo extensions, and then you lose loads of stuff. So I think that's why that is important. Even though that will obviously draw fire, and it's going to be on top of the extensions, but I think I would rather have a turret drawing fire that can fire back than have nothing. So obviously because of that it's going to need an ammo container. Now because it's only giving ammo to that turret, I don't think it needs an extension, so it won't be any bigger than that. There will of course be the cargo container controller. I'm not going to bother putting the extensions on this. So the idea is that this vehicle is going to be tier 1, and after all of this, the rest of the CPU I'm just going to allocate to the extensions. So whatever's left after this, the extensions will take up. Okay, next lot of devices. Right, so based on the idea I have in my head, I think there's going to be a space for one of these large cargo boxes in the cab, and then of course there'll be the 2 headlights. I'm hoping to get 2 anyway, and then 2 flares as the tail lights, and probably 4 docking pads, probably. So that's gonna be it other than the extensions. Let's have a quick look. Oh, okay, so half of it will be extensions. Oh, there will be blocks, but then I have 107 to play with there of CPU until I get up to half. So the body of this, I'm planning to do a mix of carbon, composite and steel. I'll have to see how that goes. I'm thinking there'll be steel around the extensions just for that extra little bit of hit points, and probably around the front end to protect the generator, because I expect that'll be under kind of a bonnet type shape. I'm hoping, yeah, maybe that. So yeah, I was going to talk about the actual design, but actually I want to talk about what's going to be in the bulkhead behind these seats. Behind the cab there'll be a wall that separates the cab and the extensions. So in that wall will be probably the O2 tank and the ventilator. Where did they put the ventilator? Is it under there somewhere? Yeah, okay. Yeah, there it was. Just spotted it. It's underneath there. So those will be in the bulkhead wall along with the Wi-Fi. I'm probably going to put those 2 large fuel tanks in the bulkhead. There'll be one behind each seat. Like I said, it's possible I'm going to put so a couple of small fuel tanks as well. They'll probably be in the kind of engine bay under the bonnet type shape area where the generator is. It depends on what kind of shape I make that, but that'll be there. What else will be in this wall? I think that's it, isn't it? I might put the detector kind of on it, maybe. Up there, possibly. I don't know. I haven't really thought where I would put that yet. But obviously it'll go in there somewhere. So shape-wise, I'm thinking, if you imagine this front end, I'm going to try my best to make this coming out from the cockpit seat one block shorter. So I'm hoping there'll only be two in front of that. I'm hoping. I'm also hoping that the cab and the bonnet area will only be 3 blocks wide, and then any windows and the doors will be on the outside of those 3 blocks. And then I'll kind of taper it out a bit into the 5 block wide cargo extensions. So that's my plan. Oh. Now these doors are only 4... Yeah, they're only 4 CPU. So I'm not going to use up... So the cargo extensions, I'm not going to do as much as I can get out of the CPU regardless of the shape that I'm left with. So if it's a weird shape, I might shave a few off. Or I might maybe go over CPU just to make it a slightly better shape. But I did just think then, do I want... Because I'm going to have the container controller on the very back. So you access that from the back of the vehicle like you would do a van, you know. So I was thinking maybe a door on the back of that. So I'll have to see with the CPU. But that is my plan. Yes. Righto then. Oh, yeah, I'm not planning a hover booster either. Because, I mean, that's 50 CPU, if I remember right. Yeah, it's 50. So, I mean... That's a few more extensions, so I don't think I'll bother. If you get stuck in water, it's your own tough titty. Righto then, so that's the plan. I'll throw some blocks around and bring you back in a bit. Well then, I got this so far. I mean, it's okay. Yeah, CPU wise, I've still got nowhere near to the 2,500 container extensions that I can have up to, but I've got that so far, which is all of the extensions, so there's not many, but yeah, I would have preferred for these not to be so long, but I don't want to bring the front end out really. So I think I might stick with that, to be honest. Yeah, it's looking okay. That's what she's like on the inside. So I got the cargo box in, the large one. There's the ammo. Underneath the ammo, separating it from the extensions, is the core. Yeah, the O2 tank is beneath the ventilator behind this cargo box. Yes. I mean, it's going to do the job. It's looking very much, though, like... Let me see if I can find it. No. I'm looking for an enclosed cockpit miner. So I'm looking here for ECU. Yeah. Right at the top. That was weird. So... Oh, okay. It's maybe not as close to that as I thought it was. Where's the middle one of those? ECU even. Driller? Ah, maybe it's this one I think it looks more like. Of course, it's been years since I've actually seen this. Yeah, okay. It's sort of... I mean... Yeah, it looks like it's from the same manufacturer, and of course it is, me. So, yeah, I think I'm okay with it. Right, so all I need to do now is place in the kind of rear thruster housings and then fill it up with extensions. So I'll bring you back when I've done that, but it's not going to look much different. Right then, see you in a minute. Okay, I've got this so far. That's a shutter covering the controller container extensions. Now, she only goes 25 meters a second forward, 17 in braking reverse. 45 degrees yaw isn't too bad. I did end up having 6 hover engines because I thought that's going to be a lot of bulk for just 4, so I did manage to squeeze another 2 on. And it's within CPU, just with a 19,000, yeah, 19,000 SU cargo. Whoops. So, oh, and I put on 2 small thrusters on the back to help improve its forward. I might have to downgrade all the steel in order to make it lighter. I think I'm gonna I think I'm gonna change the shape slightly to be the slightly slanted shapes. Oh, I can't there, can I? Because that's a L-shaped wall. That's a one of those. And I was thinking I would be putting in loads of those. It might have to just make do. Although maybe on these ones, perhaps I could have these little mini ramps along the edge, because I originally had it in all of these corners, but I think I'm going to have to get rid of those shapes because I needed to save weight. But I think I might need to save more. Now, hit points of 31 compared to 12. The thing is, it's a tier 1 van, so is it acceptable? Is it going to be acceptable? Now, the thing is that you don't actually... Yeah, no, if you're carrying stuff in that cargo box, cargo container, enough of it so that that's full, and you'd lose one of the extensions, you will drop some. I am just thinking I might need to have it all carbon composite. I might leave these as steel because they protect the generator and the core, sort of. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to. So there you go. When I bring you back, I'll show you what I've got, and it'll be all carbon composite, I think. Alright, see you in a mo. Right then, I've replaced almost all of the steel with carbon composite, except for this little bit at the back to help protect the controller, and as I said, this little bit at the front to help protect the generator and the core. The funny thing is, it's had very little effect. It's still 25 in the forwards and 18 reverse in all other directions, which is plus 1 meters a second more. Wowee! Yeah, I think... No, I think I don't know, actually. I think I might upgrade it all to steel again, actually. I mean, if it's going to have so little effect, I might as well. But I thought I'd bring it down for a test drive. I think it was 45 on the yaw. It still is. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to give it a quick test drive. Then I'll upgrade it to steel, and then give it another one. I've made a couple of small tweaks. This was just a flat wall panel. Now it's the L shape here. Same on the other side. And I decided to extend the roof all the way to the window, because I did have glass along there, and it just looked a bit weird that it was like all glass from there to there. Yeah. Okay, right, let's give it a drive. Yeah, right hand drive, sorry. Okay. Maximum 50 meters a second? I'm sorry, what? So is that wrong? Oh, 25 meters a second squared, and that is just 50 meters a second. Okay. Yeah, as you can tell, since I come back and started building, I haven't actually played a survival yet. I've just been in creative. So all of this I'm still rusty at. Do you know what? I'm okay with the handling of this. Can I do anything about that door? I don't think I can. It's on the outside of the block. I would like to put glass doors there, but obviously they're not airtight. Yeah, okay. And no, I can't move the seats forward because of the slanted window. Unless I do flat windows. Not sure I want to, actually. It doesn't look great even with slanted windows. If I put flat 2x1 windows there, standing upright, it's going to look even worse. Okay, so this one's saved. I'll upgrade the carbon composite to steel and see how it is. So I will see you in a mo. Why hasn't it saved them as red? I did turn them to red. I know it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to do it anyway. Right, they're red now. So it's all steel, okay? So it was a yaw of 44? 44. The 25 forwards and the 17 backwards hasn't changed much. Still gets up to 50. It does feel a little bit more sluggish though. So I think it's better to have the extra hit points between whatever's shooting at you and the extensions, maybe. Yes, okay, I think it's going to stay as steel then, since it makes very little difference. Cool. Right, well then, so next time you see it, it'll be painted! See you in a bit. Right then, it's all painted. As you can see, I've stuck with the kind of first run hover vehicles white sort of scheme. Now you can be a white van man or a white van woman in Empyrion. Right then, so it's just the device naming and grouping and the signal logic. Oh right, so I put an extra couple of lights on the outside and that took the CPU to 4999. Out of 5,000. Talk about cutting it fine. Do I need to show you anything else? I don't think so. It's just the paint. Yeah. Right, there we go then. So in the next clip then it'll be the end. So see you in a while. I only went and forgot the bloody Wi-Fi, diddle I? It's there now. It was supposed to be under there, and as I was grouping the devices I realised the next group was Wi-Fi and I couldn't find it. Yeah, oh well, There you go. It's on the back now. On the top. On the back. On the top. On the back. On the top. Righto then. It's all done. Device is named and grouped and all of that jazz. Oh, 5000 of 5000 CPU. I couldn't have done that if I tried. So it's surprising that I did it without. But there you go. Right then, thank you very much for taking an interest in the HoverVan. Hopefully you enjoy it and you find it useful. So hopefully I'll see you either in the tour video for this vehicle or in another video for a different vehicle. Thank you very much and goodbye. Super professional outro! Just to give you time really to remove this video from your watch later list or something.